Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Today, we are going to be discussing Willian. We're going to be discussing whether or not Chelsea should think about selling Willian in either January or next summer. The man is 31 years of age. He's been at Chelsea since August the 28th, 2013, so he's one of our longest serving players, and it's at the point now where, again, his form has actually piqued the interest of Barcelona, of all teams in Spain. They've been linked with Willian in the past. There were rumours that they were willing to pay up to around £60 million, and at the time Chelsea rejected it. They weren't interested. Willian has always been very open about his love for Chelsea. We all know the story about how he actually got to sign for Chelsea in the first place. Cut a long story short, I'm sure there's plenty more fine prints and small details that we're missing. Tottenham, they bought his flight, and then, Willian decided that the blue would have suited him better, which I firmly agree it does. Over the years, Willian has always been a player who a lot of Chelsea fans don't quite get. Willian's either one of those players that you really love or you don't like. I think a lot of that has been justified, and what we're going to do today, we're going to break down his stats, we're going to break down his goals, his assists for every single season that he's had in a Chelsea shirt since he signed on the 28th of August 2013. So without any further ado, before we start getting into the actual debate side of things, we're going to take a little look at what Willian has done in a Chelsea shirt. So we take it all the way back to the 2013-14 season. Willian played 42 matches, scoring 4 goals and 7 assists. Now, during this season, we didn't really know what Willian was. At the time, he was playing predominantly on the right wing, but also on the left wing, and also in an attacking midfield position. There's 11 goal contributions there, which is only one every 273 minutes. Now, football's a 90-minute game. That is a goal contribution pretty much 1 in 3 matches, which, quite frankly, for an attacking player, no one can really say it's the greatest stats they've ever seen. Moving into the 14-15 season, and yet again, this was kind of an underwhelming season from the Brazilian. 49 appearances, 4 goals, 5 assists, which is a goal contribution once every 362 minutes. So at this point, we're thinking, what is this player actually bringing this team in terms of contributions for scoring goals and assisting goals? Well, let's take a little look at the next season. The next season was, for me, Willian's most memorable season. As a Chelsea fan, seeing Willian play during the 2015-16 season under Jose Mourinho, it was one of those where, he was the man bringing us out of trouble when we were seriously in trouble. 49 total appearances that year in all competitions. All the stats we're going through in this video are from every single competition. 11 goals, 10 assists with a total of 21 goal contributions, 1 every 184 minutes. That is half the time it took for Willian to contribute a goal than it was in the previous season. So in terms of form, Willian probably peaked in his 3rd season in terms of finally Chelsea fans getting to see the best of the Brazilian attacking midfielder that we were all so excited to see when he signed from Shakhtar Donetsk. Let's move in to the 2016-17 season. Now, Willian actually scored more goals in the 16-17 season, playing 41 matches, 12 goals, 5 assists, and now we're starting to see the goal contributions per minute change dramatically when Willian wasn't a guaranteed starter. So that's a total that season of 17 contributions with a goal every 117 minutes. If you're looking at averages, this is actually a much better return from Willian, and it was probably around the 16-17 season where a lot of the Chelsea fans that were actually on the fence with Willian maybe started to think that, we could get somebody better, and we're not fully convinced as to what he brings to the team. We'll look at his individual attributes away from the statistics in a moment. During this season, Willian was actually providing goals and assists for Chelsea on a relatively consistent basis. Moving into the 17-18 season, now this was probably Willian's best season. A total of 55 appearances, 13 goals and 12 assists, 25 goal contributions in the 17-18 season, which is a goal or an assist every 122 minutes of football. If we're looking at strikers, a striker would be considered probably doing very well if they were to kind of hit those kind of figures of when they scored a goal or got an assist. If your striker turns up with a goal or an assist every 100 or so minutes, you're pretty happy with your striker. I mean, there are some some premium ones out there, you know, Messi, Ronaldo. If you look at their goals and assist statistics, it's pretty mind-blowing. But the 17-18 season from Willian was actually pretty good in terms of output. The 18-19 season, last season, not so many goals, 56 appearances again. We went all the way to the final in the Europa League, and Willian was actually a key player for Chelsea in the Europa League last season. 8 goals, 14 assists, 24 total contributions, which is a goal or an assist every 147 minutes. This isn't awful, you know. People give Willian a hard time, myself included, for the amount of goals and the amount of assists he's had in a Chelsea shirt. But if we look at the totals for Willian over his career, 307 appearances, 55 goals, 56 assists, which turns out as an average of a goal contribution every 178 minutes of football. If we look at where the majority of Willian's football's been played in a Chelsea shirt, predominantly on the right-hand side of the wing. He is more of an attacking player than he is defensive, but he can be very versatile. He is very versatile. He can play in the middle, in an attacking midfield position, and if we really need him to, he's not as effective from there, but he can also play on the left-hand side of the pitch. So what I want to do now is I want to take you to a makeshift chart that I've made. You guys know the way I work with graphics. I don't hire anyone to do it. I'm not like that aesthetically minded in terms of the way things look, so please allow for the green arrows and the red arrows and the blue ones, which basically are like an equilibrium point. And as you can see, for the 13-14 season, we didn't really have anything to compare Willian to. It was his first season at Chelsea. In everyone's first season, well, maybe not so at Chelsea, but you can kind of give someone a bit of leeway. They're coming in with a brand new language, brand new club, brand new management, brand new players to be around. So Willian's first season was a little bit underwhelming, but we've given him blue arrows for this one. In terms of the 14-15 season, we didn't really see any improvements whatsoever. The assists went down, the total contributions per minute went down, but the 15-16 season, when Willian was playing predominantly as a right winger, we saw everything improve from Willian. In the 16-17 season, he got more goals but less assists, but the total contributions per minute went up. And again, in the 17-18 season, more goals and assists per minute, it went down. And then the 18-19 season, more assists, less goals, and less contributions. So what we can all confirm from that really is that Willian's contributions in a Chelsea shirt have been very inconsistent. It's probably the main reason why people are so quick to say, yeah, we should just get rid of him. I want to give my views on this, and it's all based around whenever you're trying to consider selling a player, it isn't about what they've done in the past for the club. What it is about is doing the right thing for Chelsea Football Club. It's always the case when we were trying to think about selling Eden Hazard, it was always a case of, right, let's try to get him to sign a contract so that when we do sell him, we can command more money and we don't let him run it down to the final year. In Hazard's case, it kind of was one of those where we probably could have got more money for him, but we couldn't really get him to sign a new deal because with the nature of the deal and how big it was a more difficult thing to do. Whereas with Willian, it's at a point where the man is 31 years of age. In terms of how long Chelsea have got to actually command a sum of money which is actually going to see us really benefit, I think the fee that Chelsea should be considering for Willian, we probably can't get 60 million anymore because of the way his contract is. If we can get anything in excess of 40 million for Willian, I definitely think there is a legitimate reason for Chelsea to consider selling. That being said, Willian is obviously one of the more trusted players in Frank Lampard team. If we talk about experience, he's got 6 years of playing at the highest level for Chelsea. He understands the first team DNA. There is a definite shift in terms of when you move from the youth teams, from the reserves into the first team. It's something that all of these young players are currently coming through at Chelsea. They need to look at somebody who is experienced like Willian to understand exactly what it takes to be a professional playing at the highest level. So in terms of the language, Willian is obviously pretty good with his English now. When he first came, he's made massive improvements over the time he's been here. Probably wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest. He's been there long enough. But Willian is the kind of player that you can see the young players have a good bond with him on the field, which I think is a good reason why Frank Lampard has trusted in him so far this season. If we look at the beginning of the season, again, people were questioning what Willian was bringing to this team. We were just excited for Hudson-Odoi to return, and we wondered why Christian Pulisic wasn't getting any minutes. But in terms of the goals and the assists, so far this season, 6 contributions in total, total from Willian in 15 appearances. It's not too bad, but at the same time, what we're really seeing from Willian right now is a defensive work rate that is really important in this high-pressing Chelsea team. Willian is also extremely press-resistant, and he gets back and helps Chelsea win the ball. Something that's also really key to note with Willian is that for the 90 minutes, when someone is doing as much running as a player like Willian needs to do in his position, he looks tireless, and there's only been a couple of times in my memory when Willian has been having a good game and it gets to like the 85th, 86th minute and he's puffing away and he can't really offer any more. Willian offers a tireless performance for Chelsea whenever he's on the pitch. Sometimes I would say that he does look as if the effort isn't 100%, but when he's on his day, he's a very important player in the current Chelsea setup, and right now, considering the demanding nature of the way that Frank Lampard wants to play, with that high press, with the high intensity to make sure Chelsea are always trying to win the ball back, Willian has actually been a really good player delivering in that kind of situation. So let's bring it back to trying to come to some sort of conclusion here as to what Chelsea should do. I totally understand why fans have been frustrated by Willian over the years. You know, he's got over 100 goal contributions in just over 300 games, but if you look at other so-called elite attacking midfielders in Europe, it isn't the greatest output level in comparison to some others, and we could be here all day explaining who that other that we're comparing them to is. But at the same time, if you look at the price Chelsea paid for Willian, 30 million back in 2013 was still quite a big sum of money. You consider that in today's market, and in order to get somebody who can deliver you 100 goal contributions over 6 years, you're probably looking at a minimum of 50 odd million pounds. So in that sense, the outlay initially for Willian, we've probably 100% seen the return in that. Chelsea, you know, we've not had that many Brazilians over the years. We remember Alex, he was one of my favourites, that big centre-back who could just score an absolute bullet. We all remember him. But Willian has obviously got a very big global appeal for Chelsea, particularly in South America. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that financially, we've 100% seen a return of investment on Willian's signing. He's been at Chelsea since 2013, and right now, the words that Frank Lampard is using to describe Willian, he loves having him at the club. Like, words like love is 100% a sign of a manager who has faith in a player. And it's not just because Frank Lampard played alongside Willian and they had successful times together. What we're seeing right now from Willian is a real turn of form. People that haven't been fully convinced are starting to understand that Willian has still got a lot to offer this Chelsea team, and at 31 years old, it really is a question that needs to be answered now in terms of do we give Willian a new 1-year deal, which is probably what he'd get, but it looks as though Willian is trying to hold out for a 2-year contract, but we all know that Chelsea aren't always keen on giving players over the age of 30 anything more than a 1 year. In terms of Willian wanting to stay, I don't think there's any question that Willian is very happy at Chelsea. Right now he's getting a lot of playing time, and over the course of his Chelsea career, even though there have been teams like Barcelona that have come in for him, Willian has always been very transparent in saying that he loves the club and he's very happy in West London. So putting all of that into consideration, I personally would not sell Willian. And I think that we all know that Pedro's minutes in a Chelsea shirt have been numbered recently. In terms of his age, he's also a little bit older than Willian as well. So in terms of time that we could have left of these players playing at the highest level, Willian is a better option than Pedro in that sense. But at the same time, and this is where it really does become a debate, Chelsea could probably still get around £40 million, maybe slightly more, probably unlikely. But Barcelona come in knocking potentially in January. It could be an opportunity for Chelsea to cash in. And I think that if a bid did come in for 40, 45 million for the Brazilian, I didn't mean to rhyme it there, but it just sounded good at the time, with the likes of Callum Hudson-Odoi coming through, with Christian Pulisic coming through, with the links to, as much as I'm not really interested in Wilfried Zaha, Jadon Sancho, you know, these are names that there is genuine interest most likely from Chelsea in the long term. In order to cash in on a 31-year-old, it could be an option, but I personally would use Willian as he has been used right now. He's been a very key player for Frank Lampard so far this season. We shouldn't really rate Willian off of what he's done in the past, but his importance in this Chelsea team right now is actually key. We're still seeing him run for 90 minutes despite being 31 years old. He's got so much energy, and in this current Chelsea setup, I really think he complements the system very well, whether that's in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. At the moment, I wouldn't sell Willian, but you know, he's been one of those players, as we've said throughout this video, who's always come to like a bit of a head with Chelsea fans in terms of whether you want him there or whether you don't. So as always, let me know your thoughts on what Chelsea should do If a bid was to come in for Willian in January, do we wait till the summer, in which case maybe the value drops? Do we offer him a new contract and just say, you know what, he's been a long time servant, and quite frankly, despite people's thoughts about his inconsistencies, 55 goals and 56 assists, and it's not like we're seeing a massive plummet. We've actually seen Willian always being consistent, so it's not like right now we're actually seeing a decline where there's any urgency to really cash in. It's at a point where this season, he's actually been playing very well. Whether he's not getting goals or assists or not, the effort that he's putting in for the team is definitely not questionable in this current Chelsea Frank Lampard system. And even fans that have been against him, I think everyone can kind of agree that Willian's performances, particularly recently, have been very good. So yeah, that was just a little quick video today about Willian. I quite enjoyed this one, to be honest. I quite enjoyed doing like a little deep dive into the stats of the players. Willian, for me, has always been someone I've absolutely loved having at Chelsea. Whether you love him or hate him, I think that I always love it when a player buys into the philosophy of the club. Someone who really does try to get involved. He loves it on social media. I like watching his little videos, like the small things, like Willian on the fifth stand up doing his little winks and his little thumbs up and all that stuff. Like, it sounds really stupid, but I kind of buy into all of that kind of stuff as well as a fan. So I personally wouldn't sell Willian, but I would be tempted if the right money came in, considering his age, considering the contract, and of course the players we've got coming through, and the excitement surrounding the players we've been linked with. But as always, the conversation doesn't stop here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, and you want to see me break down individual players a bit more, hit a like rating on this video. The international break is flipping dragging, honestly. I'm spending more time like twiddling my thumbs, wondering like how I'm going to get to Manchester. I'm probably going to get the train, but apparently the trains back are going to be an absolute nightmare that day. I'm spending most of my time just deliberating with myself the best things for me to do as a Chelsea fan. What a life we live. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. I'll see you all later. Oh, also, going down to Cobham to film something fun tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I'll catch you all later.